Sorry, Jenna.
Sorry, I'm out of it.
Steven, you're on the line with Jenna and Ethan. How are you?
I'm great. How are you guys?
I'm doing well. Oh, and I forgot to give the obvious trigger warning. We don't have a call screener, and this is live. Steven, what do you got for us?
All right. I originally called because of last week's show, but this week's show has an interest to me as well. I've been married 4 times unsuccessfully because I'm in mental health recovery. It feels like every time a relationship gets sexual, I fall in love in a hurry.
I see that.
I think that can happen to a lot of people. You when you're having sex, you bond on another level. So, would you? So, do you fall in love with everyone you sleep with?
Not 100%, but probably 90%. Yeah.
Have you considered doing that kind of friends with benefits situation?
Well, I actually have somebody that could fall into that category, but when we were together the first time, it ended badly because I fell in love and she didn't, and it didn't work out. However, I think it could go with friends with benefits, but I don't know that I could stick with that.
Why is that?
Because I fall in love.
You can love someone that you're friends with benefits with, right?
I know.
Are you open to the possibility that it's may not be love and it could actually just be attachment?
Right, like oxytocin overdose.
Absolutely.
So do you wait a little while and then you find out that it's not love, or does it stay forever?
Well, with this past one, she pretty much made it clear from the start it wasn't love.
Oh.
And I just wasn't accepting that.
What do you mean?
When you say you weren't accepting it, what do you mean by that?
Well, anyway, I would tell her that I loved her, and occasionally she'd say it back, but then let me know that it wasn't the love I was thinking of. But I just get so let me put it this way: when we're not together, that's all I can think about is that person. I mean, it's overwhelming.
What do you have going on in your life? Like, what are your goals, if you don't mind me asking? Like, what are you working toward?
Well, I'm in a mental health recovery. I'm also in addiction recovery. Been doing both quite a while. Now I'm working in the mental health field.
Oh, cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. But I have this part. That part of my life is fantastic. Work is awesome, and I also volunteer at a homeless shelter a couple nights a week.
Thank you for that
all
too.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You're welcome. All that's amazing. However, I'm very lonely. I don't look forward to weekends. I have my dog Dexter, but I get very lonely, and I think that's why I get attached so quick when somebody shows me some attention sexually.
That's why I was suggesting the idea of a friends with benefits relationships, is because it's not like you have to tie down anything. You can just have however many friends you want and do whatever you want.
Or, not that this is for everybody, and you have to find people who can consent to this, but you could also consider a polyamorous relationship, one where you will not be in danger of getting overly attached to one person. Now, I don't typically have... I'm sorry?
I'm not sure what that is.
Oh, sorry. So that would be like a relationship or agreement with more than one person. So you may have like one person in your life. It could be, you could have multiple people where you're, having sex with these dedicated partners, as long as they're all in agreement and know that you're sleeping around with other people, then that could help prevent you from getting attached to one person. Or possibly like having one partner for sex, having another partner for cuddling, one for going to the store with, then that way you're not as worried about getting attached to this one person. And I mean, I can tell you from my perspective, I am also lonely. I do have a lot of people around me, but being surrounded by people doesn't necessarily make you any less lonely. But I try and remember that I want to make sure the people I spend my time with are important to me. So I don't know. I want to be careful what I say here. Janet, can you take over for a second?
Well, I was agreeing with you. I'm just to add on to that. Like, for example, if I didn't have my partner, I have a group of friends that we're all very close. I mean, it might as well be like a poly friendship. We're not all sleeping with each other, but we're friends. Like, we hang out with each other. We can rely on each other. We can trust each other. And so it kind of gives me more than one person to think about.
Right. I could do that in a non-sexual way.
Yeah.
But when it comes to sexual, it would have to be monogamous for me.
That's totally fine.
I wouldn't. I'd be very jealous.
Perhaps, waiting a longer time before you become physically intimate. Let them know that when you do start having sex, that you typically get more attached, and therefore you'd like to wait, a longer period of time before engaging in that to make sure you're a right fit for that person. I also think it's important to recognize that these emotions can may be powerful, but it's best to recognize that they are, to not let your emotions dictate you, and to recognize that, as Jenna said earlier, this is a release of oxytocin, and it may not be love, but I'm not the one to determine that.
And just to clarify, and I'm sure you know this working in the mental health field, but for those who don't know, we are not professionals. We are peers. We are just people who are interested in mental health, and we have experience in things ourselves. But when it comes to monogamy and poly, some people are one, some people are the other. But something that I have learned, having only been in monogamous relationships, something that I've learned having friends who are in poly relationships, is that most of the barrier between having the ability to do that is insecurity. And granted, I have that insecurity, and so does my partner. So we're pretty fine in our monogamous relationship. But if at some point in time we were both able to work on that, it could open up doors. It could change things, because marriage, you've been married 4 times. It gets long. It gets monogamous or monotonous.
Monogamous too.
Right. But, it can change if you were to consider taking that look at yourself and trying to see if that's something that could change. And it's not for everyone. But you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. This is what I think about a lot. Those 4 marriages I talked about, well, all but the last one, I was into drugs and alcohol really bad, and that kind of led to the problems in those. The last one I wasn't into alcohol, but she was. But I tried to overlook that, and it didn't work either. But I feel like I deserve to have, I joke and say number 5, but I shouldn't do that. Another wife that would be married to this me. And I almost crave that to a fault.
You crave what?
Wanting to be in a marriage with this version of me. I've been in addiction recovery. This month will be 20 years.
Congratulations.
Mental health recovery. mental health recovery. I don't know if it's been 10 years or not yet. But this is a better version of me.
That's totally normal to want a relationship. I wouldn't count the old ones. I wouldn't count. I mean, it doesn't matter how many times you've signed a piece of paper. I mean, you're single right now, right?
Yes.
And you want a relationship.
I'm not young.
That's fair. So, I mean, you're not young compared to who, right?
So because of that, I overlooked the red flags. I'm so bad in relationships. I overlook the red flags or think it'll get better, and I know better. But in the moment, I don't know better.
Let me ask you this. When you get into a relationship, what is your goal? Do you have, like, when you get into something, is it, hey, I just want to get married?
That's a very good question.
That's what I'm looking for, yes.
So
I don't know if I say that right away, but
why is it that, what is it about a marriage that you're craving?
I didn't hate my marriages. They didn't work out, but I didn't hate them. And 2 of them I have children with. I just like that being part of my life.
So
just have, and now I've conquered a lot of things. I just ain't conquered my emotions when it comes to that.
So what is it specifically about marriage that appeals to you as opposed to just a longtime partner?
That's a good question. Excuse me. I'm not sure. It's just always where my head goes pretty quickly.
So it's great that you're able to recognize that. I think that is an important step. May I make a suggestion?
Absolutely.
Try switching your goal from marriage to just having a good long-term healthy relationship, because I'm not opposed to marriage, but that shouldn't be your goal in a relationship. It should be like mutual happiness, working together. Those are the things you should be actively fighting for and trying for. Adding a certificate, in my opinion, it doesn't validate it anymore, because if you love each other, you're going to love each other regardless if there's a certificate of marriage or not.
May I add to that?
Sure.
So I was, like I said, when I was single, I was sleeping with a few people, and with my current partner, like I said, we had developed this relationship, this friendship. And then after we developed this friendship, we developed a relationship. And like Ethan said, if that's what you're looking for, is just a good relationship, then you can start with a friendship. Just look for friends. And then out of those friends, see who you want to hang out with more. And if you feel like just hold off on the sex if you can. You know, if that really clouds your judgment and you know that about yourself, but what you want is a relationship and you know it confuses it, so maybe hold off on sex. Say, you know, we'll not have sex until date number whatever, or until I've known you this long, or experiment with it. You know, you don't have to marry every person you date. So I would say, like exactly what Ethan said, go out and find some good relationships, find some friends, and see where it goes.
Okay.
Again, we are not professionals.
Yes. Don't
I know that. I'm not a professional either.
No, just so that people watching, if somebody's just now tuning in, that they don't think that we're like
right and
giving people professional advice.
We're giving advice. Like, no, we're just 2 people that wanted to do a show,
right,
and make a difference.
I love your show, by the way.
Thank you, Steve.
Share it.
Yeah, I didn't agree with last week.
Yeah.
But we won't get in there.
Well, I'm sure we'll bring it up again.
Stephen, I want to thank you for taking the time to call in.
Thank you so much, and good luck with everything.
All right. Have a good Sunday.
Thank you.